in the or
right.
And so I guess if you're mostly not touching them, and I mean their DNA would have already been all over, because I mean nobody ever denied that they spent time in the bed, that you know they were there. So bodily fluids would have been the only proof, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would prove or disprove. I mean, obviously you can't at this point, but even then it would have been
still
hard.
One of those cases, it's always going to be, did he, didn't he?
And I agree with you. I don't know if, like, there was a skit on Saturday Night Live last night about, like, it was to do with the R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, and about, like, do we pretend like they didn't exist as far as their, like, artistic contributions? And I can't answer that. You know, he made a really compelling point. He was like, this catalog of music is out there. It's part of our...
Not only is it out there, he's like, if I'm not mistaken, still the greatest selling artist in history.
It's part
in
of
several categories for sure.
It's part of our culture. I mean, these songs.
Well, see, that was my biggest concern about them pulling his statue and things from the radio, songs from the radio. Like I said, it would be different if he was on trial and was found guilty. I could understand that stuff happening.
Yeah.
But this is years later. He can't defend himself, and for them to be doing that, I think is just wrong.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, it's, if, like you said, if it was definitively guilty,
or even if he was able to defend himself, you know, that's probably the biggest problem that I have, because this is, like you said, it's after the fact. It's a decade plus after the fact. He's been dead for, what, 10 years now, right?
I think, yeah.
Has it been that long?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why they released it this year, is because this is the 10-year anniversary of his death. But to release that and then make all of these claims and these accusations that have all by people who have already testified for his defense in court, and then to say, oh, well, all that was bullshit. Here's the horrible stuff that happened, and he can't rebut.
Right.
You know, I think...
Well, that's one of the tenets in our justice system, is you get to face your accuser.
Exactly. And
in this case, I totally understand the legal and moral quandary of it. I think, like Amber said, there are no answers. There will be no answers. The only person that can give answers
happens to be dead, and wouldn't give them if he
wasn't.
No,
obviously. You know. But any, you know, how long the place is up for sale, it's, you know, parts of it have been demolished.
So it was like 2,500 acres in California.
Yeah. And
what was it? Santa Maria, Santa Monica, one of those? Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly where, but I mean, it was a very big compound, because she made... Joy Robeson made a comment about, remember, they would go off in the morning and I'd look for them all day, and you know,
never find them.
Yeah, I mean, when you could just sort of like be on the same property, and
yeah, I mean, he had a couple of zoos and a fully functioning, you know,
amusement park
and the rail system, and it's like, holy shit, how much money did this motherfucker have?
A lot.
Well, you know, he had the Beatles catalog for a long time.
Oh, that's right, I had forgotten about
he
that.
He owned the Beatles catalog for a long time.
Remember? Yeah, he did.
And then at one point, Paul McCartney tried to buy it, and they couldn't reach a deal. But I think later on,
he gave it.
He gave it to him.
Yeah.
Didn't he say it was Paul McCartney's idea to buy, like, the very first released albums of theirs or something, and Michael got a hold of them? And
yeah, I don't remember I just remember when it was a big deal, and then they did that collaboration, and I don't know if they made Frenzy Friends or what happened, but
you know, that's actually part of that is why Guns N' Roses broke up. Because Slash did a collaboration
thing.
Yeah, did a collaboration with Michael Jackson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And Axl Rose was all pissy because, you know, Axl Rose got something bad happened to him in his no-no square at some
I did not
point.
Know that.
Yeah. And he was like, dude, that's bullshit. You know, he's
right.
You know, he's messing with kids.
No, I'd never heard that.
And Slash was like, I don't know anything. He got off, and Axl hit the bricks.
I did not know any of that. No,
me neither.
Well, that was part of it. Axl's horrible punctuality probably played a lot into the breakup too, but
and the acres and acres of drugs.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that too.
Well, ultimately, I think what it's going to be is
that how they're measured in acres?
As far as the music and the legacy,
end.
Each person is going to have to decide that for themselves. Since there's not going to be a definitive legal answer, I don't feel.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Let's take Elvis. Mm-hmm. Elvis has been dead for decades.
His
music, his music is literally everywhere. It's influenced everything since it was released.
Definitely.
If somebody were to make a claim that he was inappropriate with them,
I think they have made those claims.
Okay, but notice his statues are still there.
Graceland
is still undemolished.
I think that's a product of our times. We have slowly gotten to that point where this is what happens when somebody gets,
I mean, what about Jerry Lee Lewis? He married a 13-year-old.
Wanting to,
well, here in Arkansas, the Ten Commandments statue.
Yeah, it's like, that doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy, so it needs to be demolished or
but at the same
pushed
time,
out of sight, out of mind.
The Ten Commandments thing. Hello, if you let one group do it, you have to let another group do it.
Yeah.
So, But I think that's just a product of our time. That's where we've gotten to this point.
Well, like I said, Elvis, there was always talk that
I've heard a little bit about that.
I think one of his... Priscilla, how old was she? She was not of age.
When they were dating, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then...
okay, but let's say some 90-year-old woman, or however old she'd be now, I don't know. But let's say realistically, let's say some 70-year-old woman came forward and said, Elvis did these bad things to me and all of this, right? Let's even say HBO made a documentary about it.
Let's say that.
Would it be okay to strip his music from every radio station, take down every statue and every mention of him?
No, they're
trying to do with Michael Jackson.
No, because,
in my opinion, no.
You can't... There can be no proof. I guess if there was a tape of Elvis and we all saw it, and there was
that's R. Kelly peeing on people.
Yeah. But I mean,
because it's the same.
Can't have
it's the
proof.
same.
I
it's
understand.
the same. It's exactly the same because both of them influenced their genres. Elvis actually influenced damn near everybody.
Right.
But they certainly both influenced their own genres. They changed the musical landscape from the time their first songs were released.
It's like Ross said. Everybody's got
Everybody.
Am I going to feel squicky when I listen to a Michael Jackson song now? A little bit. I mean,
that's fair.
Am I still going to love Thriller?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Halloween playlist forever. I think because it's more than just that artist song. It's all the. I can't throw away all the memories associated with that song.
Right. Yeah, because artists like that, and it's the same with Elvis. And while I'm not a Beatles fan, it's the same with the Beatles and these bands that had such an influence. A lot of their songs transcend the band.
Well, they even transcend the era that they
just like I am not a fan of Nirvana, which I know might be shocking being a rock guy, but I'm not. I just didn't think they were a good group. However, when Smells Like Teen Spirit comes on, I push the whole idea that it's Nirvana out of my head because I'm immediately, drawn back to the early to mid 90s.
Right. Those songs become like literally a soundtrack to times and places and people, and I think it's just going to have to be an individual call and what you can, tolerate. And again, I think yes, even though that music is important to me, if it were definitive, I think it would be on in a court of law, and you're going to do time, and then you could say he shouldn't profit, or his estate shouldn't profit. But
I mean, if there was undeniable proof, then you bet your ass. But with there being no proof,
just an implication, and then we start doing all this.
Not even implication, just an accusation. That's all they ever had. And while he did have a lot of money, I just can't imagine him being smart enough to fix all of the evidence.
That's why you
know?
pay somebody smarter than you.
Well, you just pay a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of people to keep quiet then.
That is a lot
true.
of loose ends.
True, but hey, money talks.
Yeah, and he had a lot of it. Oh my god! But
yeah, again, I think ultimately it's going to be up to each person as far as that goes. So
yeah, that's just a hard decision to make. You know, I mean, do I stop covering that Michael Jackson song?
I wondered what you were going to do.
I'm going to keep covering that Michael Jackson song. you know, I mean,
I'm horrified.
I'm not concerned.
Actually, I don't care.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop loving his music.
Yeah, it's just it's hard being so conflicted about that, though.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I believe them. You know, I do. But
well, and like I said, I hate the idea of them pouring their hearts and souls out and just laying everything bare in this documentary that I'm sure they were paid millions for, and I hate the idea that that they're lying, you know, because I don't know and I'll never know, and
But again, like you said, though, they were either lying then or they're lying now.
that's
so
yeah, and I mean they admitted that they were lying then, but that twice. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're not lying now. You know, so that's the hard part. But we are going to wrap this episode up and tune in next week, I guess.
See ya.
bye.
bye.